Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for joining On Air with Russell Offo. Man, I can't even speak. I can never get this out. I don't know why that is. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. That show that everyone's talking about, that live hospitality show that everyone's talking about. Today is show number 304. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is going to be the little monologue, and then I'm going to get into the intro. I switch things up every now and then, just because I can, I guess. And I don't know why I did it today, but it just hit me today. Like, you know what? Why don't you try something a little different today? Because you used to do this little monologue thing, and then you jump into the intro. And I'm like, okay, and that's a voice in my head telling me this. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm Russell L. Edmond, go by the name of Russell of Hotels. That's the name of my company, my organization. I do consulting on the hotel side or any hospitality for the most part, but mainly like creating brand awareness and letting you know about visibility and why it's key and all that. But we're going to get into that a little later. In fact, the topic for today has to do with visibility, right? Go figure. I talk about this every single week, but something just hit me today and said, you know what? Why don't you do another whole show on visibility? Not the entire show, but when I get to the topic and all that stuff. So, hey, I was in NOLA. This is the Windsor Court Hotel. Every time I do one of these shows, just remember, I'm always going to showcase a hotel or a destination. Well, in this case, a hotel and a destination. So this is the Windsor Court Hotel in NOLA, and NOLA stands for New Orleans, Louisiana, just in case you didn't know. It's funny how people like, what is NOLA? I don't know what that means. I'm like, New Orleans, Louisiana? Oh, that's the initials. That's an acronym. Yeah, that's an acronym. So, yeah, so live from the Windsor Court in NOLA. That's the Mississippi River right there, right? That's the mighty Mississippi. A lot of people don't even know that. Like, what is that river right there? Is that a river or ocean? That's the mighty Mississippi River. But anyway, I was here recently at this particular hotel. So I'm not live here right now. But you would never know, right? Would you even know if I didn't say that? That's just the magic of Hollywood. Being close to Hollywood, you get all that energy, that positive energy from that Hollywood, and people think that, oh, he's there. Well, no, I'm actually not there today, but you know what? Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, live from the Windsor Court in New Orleans. I'm Russell of Hotels. So I talk about everything hospitality, the good, the bad, the sometimes ugly, sometimes challenging, all the time challenging, right? Especially in these days where, staffing levels are still not where they should be, and these raids that are going on doesn't help any hospitality organization either. I guess some people think it will, but and then people complain that when they go and like, oh, the service sucks, or wasn't enough service and this and that, wasn't enough people working. Well, sometimes these things that we do affect this, right? Affect the hospitality, so the hospitality aspect of it. So there you go. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about some of the challenges that come on, but that ain't one of them today. So anyway, let's see. What was I going to talk about? You know what? Someone asked me. They asked me a question, and this is real quick. I'm gonna just say this. They asked me a question. I get questions. Asked to me all the time. Oh, and by the way, I'm live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. Comments are open. Feel free to make your comments on LinkedIn or on YouTube. The only thing, YouTube, if you make comments, they will be in real time. Okay, I get them on my screen. I'll put them on the screen so the whole world can see. LinkedIn, you can make comments, but they're not in real time. I have to go back and take a look and see, because LinkedIn does not allow this platform to make comments or receive comments for whatever reason. That's between LinkedIn and Ecamm Live. Hey, I'm not mad at either one of them. Okay, so I'm not in the middle of this. Okay, but anyway, it's just how it is. But you can make comments on either platform. It's just that one is in real time and one is out of time. Okay, so I'd have to go back and check it out. But I will respond if you make comments on LinkedIn. Feel free to make comments, and believe me, I will make the I will. I'm looking at. Oh my goodness, looking at comments from somebody, a text message I just received. But yeah, so someone asked me a while back. They said, "Hey, you had 30 years of experience and you had various positions in the hotel space. What was the most challenging thing that you ever did with?" I said, because I always tell people, I said, there's nothing that I haven't seen in a hotel. Being at 14 different hotels, I experienced a lot of things. I say one thing that was always a challenge. It was always going to be issues. It was 10-year class reunions. So if anyone asks me, someone always asks me like, "Hey, what are the most difficult groups that you ever dealt with, or what are the most challenging things you had to deal with?" Well, it would be managing 10-year class reunions. I don't know why it's the 10-year. It ain't the 15 or 20 years, and it's nothing beyond 10 years. Everybody else is kind of mellow, but the 10 years have always been the issues, right? And I remember this from my days in Sacramento at the Sheraton in Rancho Cordova, because we would always have to deal with, people hooking up with people that, they were trying to get in high school and all this kind of stuff. It was just the craziest stuff, from people, hooking up on the roof to, getting in the fights because, one person married someone that they shouldn't have married or whatever. And, it didn't matter, colors didn't matter. Everyone was acting up at a 10-year class reunion. I don't know why that was, but being a night manager, I had to deal with that. And I don't think I ever called the police or the sheriff more on any one group than 10-year class reunions, because they got out of control. I mean, they're fighting. They don't not just fighting each other, but they're fighting us, the hotel staff. They're trying to, keep things, separate, and let's have a good time, whatever. It always ruined it. It always was a fiasco for whatever reason. So anyway, that was it. So you don't have to ask that question again. So that was somebody just, I get pen pal letters every now and then. Anyway, let's get started on the intro, and I'll be back to start the show, okay? Hey, I'm kind of digging that. I'm kind of digging the new music, the little little jingle, and as well as the video. I'm kind of digging that. But hey, once again, thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. It's that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. It's show number 304. Is it 304? Yeah, is it 304? I don't know what the heck. I thought, yeah, show number 304. So I had to check, because I have to pinch myself every time I come on and do a show. And now that it's over 300, right? So yeah, so I made 300, I guess, about 4 weeks ago. And it's been great. I mean, I love doing the show. I've always liked it. It was never in question that, what, maybe I'm not going to do the show anymore. It was never in question, right? I mean, the first couple shows, of course, you're getting used to it, and it's kind of, maybe it doesn't go like you thought it would go or whatever, but it was never a doubt in my mind that I was going to continue. Who knew that I was going to get to 304 shows? Who knew that that was even a milestone? But it is. I reached it. I'm appreciative, but I'm not only appreciative that I put the effort into doing it, but I appreciate the people that actually have supported it over the years from day one. So that's the big thing, right? That's a big deal to me, that I appreciate people that have supported me in the show since, January 2019, when I first started my first show back at what's it called? LA Talk Radio. That's where I did it before, right? That's where it started. So I did 90 episodes with LA Talk Radio, which was basically a internet radio station where you just walk in. It was like a studio. You just walked in. All I had to do was just sit down and talk on the microphone, push the button, talk on the mic. When it was over, push the button, it was done, right? In fact, I would have a producer in my ear saying, "Hey, we need to wrap it up," that kind of stuff. I'm like, what? Okay. Well, ain't nobody in my ear now. Okay. I got to do it all. But, it's all learning, right? It was all an education because I had never done a podcast before. And so, it was a lot of growing pains, a lot of learning this, learning that, and then, buying my own equipment and kind of, going from there, right? So there you go. But I remember those days and I appreciate those days back at LA Talk Radio because I learned a lot and I was able to, get my voice out there. So thank you so much to Sam and Ronan. I appreciate that. I always give them shout outs, right? Because I appreciate them allowing me to do it, although I had to pay for it, yeah. But I mean, I appreciate them allowing me to go in and learn from them, and then and create this brand called Russell of Hotels, or On Air with Russell of Hotels. So there you go. And then from On Russell of Hotels, that created the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. So boom, there you go. So there you go. So now you got a little background of how I started, and it's all about hospitality. It's all about my experiences, right? So that's the whole premise of the show. It has nothing to do with anybody else. But yeah, of course, I have people come on. They talk about themselves, talk about their brand that they represent, anyone in hospitality, right? So it's all 100% hospitality focused, right? I'm not going to be talking about some other stuff, right? Not on this show. Not on this show. Not, if it's not hospitality related, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. We're not gonna talk about it. So anyway, there you go. I appreciate it. So anyway, once again, I'm in. This is I always showcase a hotel, either the daily check-in or On Air with Russell of Hotels. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm always going to showcase a hotel that I have experienced, personally experienced. I get calls all the time, or I get emails, and people will send me videos and still photos. Can you put this on your show? Can you do this for me? No, I can't do that for you because I've never been to that hotel. So if you're interested in that, all you gotta do is reach out to me. We can talk. I can come check out your hotel wherever it may be. Right? That's not a problem. But but there's some conversations that need to be had before all this comes comes to fruition. So no, I appreciate that, but no, it's all about I'm honest. I may do a lot of other things, but one thing I will not do, I'll never do, is like put up something that I never experienced before. So I'm never gonna have a destination here that I never been to. I'm never gonna have a hotel that I never been to. Okay. I'm not gonna be talking about someone's food, non-meat eats, and I never even tried the non-meat eats, right? Non-meat eats meaning I don't eat meat. Did you guys know that? I don't eat meat. I'm a vegan, so I'm all about the vegan hashtag non-meat eats. That's a phrase that's coined by me, just so you know. All right, just so you know. So anyway, let's get into it. Enough of that, chit chat or whatever the heck I'm doing. Enough of that. Maybe I'm just trying to buy time. I don't know what it is. But once again, Windsor Court in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. You love the food. In fact, speaking of non-meat eats in New Orleans, people probably don't even know that you can find food that's the traditional kind of New Orleans food, but it's all vegan, 100% vegan. So what was the place called? Gosh, I can't think of the name of it. It's in the French Market. I'll have to get it and let you know. But they have vegan po' boys. They have vegan beignets, which, oh my God, you can't tell the difference. Okay, you can't tell the difference. I'm telling you. Red beans and rice, a lot of red beans and rice are either cooked with some type of sausage, like an andouille sausage or something like that. Well, this is not, okay, but it has the same flavor and everything. So, what else did they have? Those are two things. Those are three things. Well, those are things that I had. That's all that really matter, right? So yeah, so you can go to New Orleans and be vegan, eat vegan, and find food that you can eat. Seriously, you can do that, okay? Because I've done it. So yeah, so shout out to any establishments in NOLA that has vegan food or vegan options. Appreciate you. So anyway, top podcasts. We're talking about podcasts On Air with Russell of Hotels. That happens to be one of the top 50 podcasts in hospitality for 2025, just in case you did not know that. And I'm all about brand awareness, even for my own brand. A lot of people don't know that. So, of course, I have to tell you. I mean, how else are people going to know? You got to be the one I always say this, you got to be your best advocate. When you're creating your own brand, you work for a brand, you got to be the one that's out there shaking the pom-poms. You ever seen the people on the street corner? They have the signs, like they can be selling a house or, trying to get you to come and try the restaurant and they're twirling a sign, these sign twirlers. That's me, right? That's what I need to be. Everyone needs to be that person, right? If you have a brand, you're creating a brand, maybe it's an established brand and you want people to know about it, you're trying to create that awareness. Sometimes you got to stand on the street corner and throw that sign up, okay? You just have to do that. You have to twirl it, flip it, twirl it, rub it down, all that stuff, right? So that's what this is for me, right? Me doing shows like the Daily Check-In and On Air with Russell of Hotels is equivalent to me being on the street corner twirling that sign, okay? It is. So you have to let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. That's all you need to do, right? The hell with that old elevator pitch thing. Who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. You can't help everyone, right? So it can be a short, brief conversation because people are like, oh, okay, you do that, okay, boom, done. Or they're like, oh my God, you do meetings? Okay, you do hotel site selection for me. How does that work? It can go either way, right? But you let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help. So bottom line, On Air with Russell Hotels. I don't know how I got off on this, but one of the top 50 podcasts. And this is international. This is global. Okay, this is not just here in the States. This is all over the world. In fact, there's a couple people. Pablo Torres, who's been on my show, I've been on his show. Paula C. On there as well. So there's people from all over the world. So I appreciate them as well as I appreciate the International Hospitality Institute for the designation, the distinction, the award, the recognition, however you want to put it. I appreciate them for this honor because it is truly an honor, and I do appreciate that. And once again, shout out to the other 49 that were recipients as well, including Pablo Torres and Paula C., who, like I said, I know them. They've been on my show. I've been on their shows, and I appreciate them as well. And they're in other countries. Paula C. is in Brazil, and I want to say Pablo is in London, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know what? This whole, digital, internet, whatever, that's just brought people together from around the world, people that I would never have known before. I met, back in, during the COVID days. Remember that? On like Clubhouse. Who remembers Clubhouse? Okay, when people were finding things to do and audio was a big thing and we were talking and having conversations, just like I'm doing a podcast, but it was Clubhouse. So you couldn't see me, you could hear my voice, right? So that's how a lot of people got established with doing podcasts and being thought leaders or whatever. It was all about doing those platforms like a Clubhouse, which I was involved in as well. So, and I appreciate those times, right? I mean, we always talk about we don't want to go back but there were some things that came out of that kind of jump started people's brands. And, there you go. There you go. So anyway, I'm one of those people, one of the top 50 podcasts in hospitality, global hospitality for 2025. So I just have to let people know because you got to be the one tooting your own horn out here. So once again, it's Windsor Court Hotel. This is one of the meeting space. One thing about it's not unique to this hotel, but all their meeting space has natural lighting. And that's a key component for a lot of groups. I don't want to meet somewhere that doesn't have natural lighting, meaning it has windows, okay? They can look outside. There's natural light coming through. They're not just relying 100% on the fluorescent lights and all this kind of stuff. So this one has that. So I have a lot of corporate groups, not a lot, but I mean, 100% of my corporate groups, they want natural lighting. In fact, they won't even go to a hotel that does not have natural lighting in the meeting space, or at least the meeting space that they want, right? Now, the other ones could have, it can be closed off, but no. For this particular group, they have to have natural light for their board meetings or whatever. So this room right here would be perfect for them because it has the natural lighting. So there you go. In fact, there's a tree right there. Oh, isn't that nice? And there's birds and bees and all that stuff. So yeah. So know your client, right? I always talk about this. Know your client and know what they want, because it's not about me. It's never about me. It's 100% about the client, right? So know your client inside and out, upwards and backwards, whatever, because I mean, they're the ones that hired me to do this, right? So I have to think like they would think. So if I'm meeting with someone, like doing a one-on-one appointment, and I ask the question, does your meeting space have natural lighting? And I'm thinking specifically of this one particular group that I have to, I'm sourcing right at the, it's hot and I need to find space for them. And if that conversation starts with, hey, what kind of meetings do you have? I see you do a corporate group for this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, does your hotel have natural lighting for, say 50, 60 people? Can we do U-shaped theater side? Oh, we can do the U shape in whatever particular style, but we don't have natural lighting. Well, then that's a no. That's move. We got to move on. Now, I may have another group, but I'm focusing on this group now. So no, the conversation is basically over. Let's talk about something else then, because we still got 10 more minutes to go in this appointment. So, but for that particular group, it's a hard no, because I know what my client wants. And sometimes you just got to let the hotel person know that no, for this particular group, they need this. Well, no, but we have this and we have that. Do you have natural lighting? No, we don't. Well, then the conversation's over. That's just it. Sorry. That's just how it is. And I've had that. I've had to have that conversation a couple times. And finally, people understand that, when you say no, it means no, right? It's not about me. It's about what the client wants. If the client was here, the client would tell you the same thing. It's just that I'm representing the client at this point. So there you go. See, you got to get in the mind of the client, right? The client knows all. Well, they may not know all, but as far as I'm concerned, they do. So this is one of the guest rooms. In fact, a lot of their rooms are suites, like one room suites, which I appreciate. I love that. Anyway, the blog. Okay, so any topic that I talk about be on the blog, so you don't have to write notes and things like that, or committed to memory, like, oh my God, he said something and I forgot. Well, everything that I talk about is on my blog. So just go Russell of Hotels, just like the scrolling thing, the bouncing ball right here. Where's it at? So russellofhotels.com. Just go to my blog. It's a drop down, hit it, bing. And everything I talk about today is already on there. Yes, already there. So there you go. So that's going to lead me into the next one. Boom. So the topic for today is visibility is more than social posts, more than a social post. Visibility is more than a social post. And why is it next to my head? I'm trying to move this. Oh, I can put it right there. See? Okay. Can I put it right there? Does that look okay? Little Windsor Court NOLA right there on the chair. Okay. I like that. Okay. You can see that, okay? So, okay. So what does this mean? The topic, visibility is more than a social post. What does that mean? How to stay top of mind. Okay, that's what we always want, right? We always want top of mind. Let me just move this on the other side here. Good, you couldn't see what I was doing. Will it stand up? That's the other issue. Will it stand up? Will it stand up? Stand. Oh my goodness, come on now. I guess I could have had this set up already, huh? But of course I didn't. But that's okay. Okay, so I had to move my iPad on the other side so it looks more natural, me reading, right? Instead of looking over here. So that doesn't look natural. That's not natural like that. But this one right here, like you can see, like I'm reading, right? So it's like a teleprompter, right? It's like a teleprompter, but it's not. So visibility is more than a social post. How to stay top of mind in a noisy hospitality industry. Do you think the hospitality industry is noisy? Yeah, there's more people taking to social media. Well, there should be more people. It should be noisy, right? But I don't think it's as noisy as it should be or that it can be, because a lot of people are not being as visible as they should be. And I think it should be a lot more congested, if you will, but it's not. So my job is to bring these things out, to let people know that, you can do these things. Visibility, it shouldn't even be an option. It should be part of the job, right? You got to be visible. Okay. That's just it. Can you be visible? Give me examples of you being visible. Okay. If I'm back, okay, let me, before I get to this, if I'm back on property, remember I used to be a director of sales and marketing, right? Maybe you didn't know that. Started off in housekeeping years ago. I'm I'm like 25 to 30 years in the industry, right? Okay. Started off in housekeeping with Marriott. I was a housekeeping trainee, went through the program with Courtyard Division, right? I started with the Courtyard by Marriott. And you had to do three disciplines before you're eligible to become a general manager. You had to do housekeeping, you had to do front office, you had to do restaurant, right? And then you train to be a general manager. But you had to get those things under your belt before you can do it, right? So I did front desk and housekeeping, but I started off in housekeeping. And then I left and went to another property, right? I went to a full service hotel from there. And then just kind of worked my way through, I'm not going to bore you with everything, but became a sales manager, director of sales and marketing, and then ultimately became a general manager, right? I did all that stuff, right? Now, if I'm back on property, now I knew all the things because when I left, I went back to being a director of sales and marketing because that was my first love, and I love the marketing aspect of it, right? In fact, you would call me a director of marketing and sales, right? Because I focus more on the marketing aspect of it because I think the marketing is the key to getting over the hump for a hotel, right? So, and visibility is part of that. I didn't know as much as I know now because when you're able to move away from property and kind of look at things from a high level and you're like, what would I do differently? What would I do differently is being more visible. As a director of sales, as a sales manager, and as a director of sales and marketing, I would make sure my people, meaning the people that I hired, were eager to be just as visible as I was, right? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, it's all about being seen, being heard, letting people know what you do, who you are, what you do, and how you can help them, right? We can't do a lot of that stuff in our office, right? We got to be out. We got to be shaking the trees. Be seeing what falls out. We got to be, shaking hands and kissing babies or shaking babies and hands, whatever, we got to be doing that. Okay. So those are things that we have to do. Now it's cool to go to conferences and all that stuff. But what happens when we're not at a meeting or a conference or having lunch or having drinks or entertaining? What happens at that point? What do we do then? Do we just like, okay, well, I'm waiting for the next trip. But what if there's a freeze on your travel and the next trip may be next year? And right now we're in July and I won't be able to travel again until maybe January, February. What do you do then? Are you going to be on the phone? Are we just going to be reactive sales at that point? I used to be proactive sales. Now I'm just reactive. What does reactive mean? You just waiting for emails to come across with leads, or you waiting for the phone to ring. Okay. That ain't a good thing. You got to be a hunter. You got to kill and eat it and cook it and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm getting kind of carried away, but you know what I'm talking about. So visibility is one thing that I learned that I was missing. Okay. One of those things that you have to go out, and let people see you, let people know who you are, whatever. But when you can't go out, you still can be visible. It's called social media. Okay. You have to be visible. You can do videos, you can do whatever, but you have to do those things because those same people that you meet with, they want to see that stuff. They do, believe me. So anyway, how to stay top of mind in a noisy hospitality industry. I had to say all that to get to it. Okay. So let's move to the next one. And I can't sing, I know that, but it doesn't stop me from trying. So once again, visibility is more than a social post. Number one, be consistent, not occasional. What does that mean? Be consistent, not occasional. Posting once a week isn't enough. Create a content rhythm that keeps your brand in circulation. You have to, it has to be in circulation, right? You have to continue to do things. You can't do it. It's not a one and done. You got these basketball players that come in as freshmen and they play 1 year and then the next year they go to the NBA, right? One and done. You can't do one and done, right? You have to be consistent. You got to do one and do another one the next day, another one the next day. Well, maybe not the next day, but it has to be in some type of frequency. You just can't do a posting one time or a video one time and expect that to catch on. That's what you want. You want things to catch on. You want people to know who you are. They're only going to know who you are if you consistently do these things, right? You got to consistently post. You have to consistently be visible. There's no other way around it. Number two, show your face, not just your logo. You know, someone had told me this. I can't think of her name, but it was on Instagram, right? IG. So it was this lady, and I can't remember her name. She's out of Boston, and man, but she's like an Instagram expert, right? So I would follow her and listen to her kind of her trainings, right? In the morning, early morning. She was on the East Coast, so of course, like at 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm at my computer, she's on because it's 9 o'clock there, right? And she was always talking about things, and she would give you kind of like a free makeover of your profile, right? So I would, you would do an instant message to her and say, hey, can you take a look at my profile? And she'd say Russell of Hotels. And she said, and at that time I had a logo. I had my logo, Russell of Hotels logo. She said, people don't do business with logos. People do business with people, and they want to see you. So visibility, and this was a couple years ago. So visibility has always been key, right? But for whatever reason, I thought I was getting away with something, right? Well, no, I'm just going to show my logo. I'm not going to show myself. She goes, people want to know you. They want to know what you look like. They want to do business with people they can see, people that are comfortable with being seen, right? And I'm like, you're absolutely right, lady. Okay, thank you so much. Why did I need to hear that? Well, for whatever reason, I did need to hear that, and she told me that. Show your face, not your logo. People connect with people. If you're in sales or leadership, your visibility is your credibility. Man, can I say that again? Show your face, not just your logo. People connect with people. If you're in sales or leadership, your visibility is your credibility. So it all makes sense now, right? It all makes sense to me that I do what I do. That's why I'm bringing this stuff to you, because someone pointed it out to me because I was missing the boat. I was wondering why are people not connecting with me? Why this and that? Oh my God, I'm doing this social media thing. Well, I was showing people a logo. I wasn't showing, but they didn't know what the hell the logo was. It's just, some lines and 2, 3, 4, 10 lines. What does that mean? What that meant. So they want to engage with someone. They want to see someone. So change that, things changed. The whole game was changed. In fact, her perception of me even changed. Like, she was like, no one's ever going to do business with you because of the logo. I mean, she was to the point, right? And this is on like she was doing live, and she was pointing people, just blasting people. But that's something I needed. That was fine. That was something I needed because she was singing a song, right? She was singing this new song, and I understood it, right? I finally understood what the heck people were saying about this social media. You have to be visible, and people do not want a logo, okay? So anyway, we beat that one to death. So let's move on. Number 3, use multi-platform visibility. LinkedIn, YouTube, IG, newsletters, even podcasts. On Air with Russell of Hotels, or the Daily Check-In. Don't rely on one outlet to carry the weight. So I cross-pollinate. What does that mean? I do one form of content, but I put it on multiple platforms. Just like this video here, just like this live show that I'm doing, right? So it's live on LinkedIn and YouTube. But I take that same, once this is over, I'll take that same video and I'll either break it down, meaning I'll put like 10 little talking spots or whatever and put that on IG. Maybe I'll put a little piece on TikTok. I'll do the entirety, I'll put it on Facebook. So now we're talking about 5 different platforms, right? So take this same content, so you can do one video and put it on 5 different platforms, okay? So that's what I always encourage people to do that. Don't just rely on one, because you don't know where 100% of your business is coming from. Well, I'm gonna tell you this, 100% of your business is not going to come from one place, okay? And you never know who you're going to reach if you cross-pollinate, meaning you go to other different platforms and post the same thing. You never know, right? So just do that. So use multi-platform visibility. Number 4, tell stories, not just stats. A guest experience. Talk about a guest experience, right? A staff member's milestone. a unique local partnership. These resonate more than occupancy numbers. I mean, we're running, I'm doing a video, right? I'm doing a video. Yeah, we're running, 99% tonight, or last night we did, and we're going to crack 100 tonight. You know what? That doesn't mean anything to anybody for the most part, other than hotel people. Okay, yeah, okay, running 100%. Okay, that's fine. That sounds good. That's great. It's great internally for the hotel, and it's great um, for hotel people. But for guests, potential guests, or potential group, I don't give a crap about that. Is your hotel nice? Do they like you? Do they resonate with you? Okay, because people buy people. They don't buy the hotel. Okay, they're not looking, oh my God, I get great service from the hotel. No, you get great service from people, right? It's all about the people. So why not, if you're doing lives, why not incorporate some of the people? Maybe, that person in housekeeping that's been with the hotel 30 years, or maybe you just hired a new chef and he has these brand new vegan dishes and he's going to prepare one for you. Why not do that? Right? Why not do behind the scenes? What's behind the house? What's back of the house? What's the heart of the house? What department is the heart of the house? Why not do that and showcase that stuff, right? That's behind the scenes stuff, right? The heart of the house. That's that's hotel talk, right? Why not educate, regular people or potential guests on that stuff, right? This person's been here, for 30 years. This person is new, just started working. What do you like about the new hotel? What do you think about this, your new job, whatever? I mean, get those things. I mean, of course, you're going to clear it with everybody first to make sure it's okay to do that, and make sure they want to do it. You don't ever want to put anybody on the spot, but you want it to look as, organic as possible, right? So why not do those things? It's all about telling a story. What about your hotel? Maybe your hotel used to be, I always tell this one story about, it's called Hotel per LA. Okay, it's downtown Los Angeles, and it used to be the Bank of Italy. It was built in the 20s. Okay, and it has a lot of history, right? About, the bank vault is still there, still in place, right? So, talk about that. Do a video inside the bank vault. Now there's restrooms in the bank vault, right? So it's just this unique story about this hotel and that period that it was built, and the architecture and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many things that you can do story tales on, but we want to throw, we got 100,000 square feet of meeting space, and we got 200 rooms, and 50 of those are suites. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Those things are good, but you ain't selling nobody with that. Okay, you're selling people with yourself, with being visible, with telling the stories, right? Engaging with people. So anyway, number 5, engage. Do not just broadcast. Respond to comments, join conversations, acknowledge partners and clients. Visibility is also about being present in other spaces. So give people opportunity to talk, but remember, you need to respond to the top. If you have a topic and people are responding, or maybe there's issues that guests have had, right? And they're posting things on your, the hotel's social media page. You have to address those things. Or if you're doing a live like this and someone wants questions answered about something, be open and be as honest as you can to answer those questions, right? So it's all about engagement. It's all about being human, right? And then people know that, okay, I understand issues happen, but I'm here to fix those issues. Or I'm here to let you know that this is the place to come and have your next event. And we have, a plethora of people that have been here, that experience and all this kind of stuff. I mean, those are things that you want to do, right? So once again, visibility is more than a social post. Number 1, be consistent, not occasional, meaning you got to do it more than once a week, okay? I'm just saying more than once. Let's just say more than once. Number 2, show your face, not just your logo. What's the logo all about? Number 3, use multi-platform visibility. Use multiple platforms. Do one piece of content, but use multiple platforms. Don't just put everything on IG. What about LinkedIn? What about YouTube? What about Facebook? Put stuff on those things as well. Number 4, tell stories, not just stats. No one cares how much meeting space you have, okay? Tell a story about the hotel. Number 5, engage. Don't just broadcast. So make sure we are responding to comments. We are engaging as much as we can be engaged. We need to do all that. Okay, so there you go. Boom. That was a good one, right? Woo! I don't know why all of a sudden I'm starting to get my allergies are acting up. I don't know why, but who's hiring? Okay, who is hiring? So I have a couple jobs now. Remember, these are in the greater Los Angeles area. Um, I happen to be today in the greater Los Angeles area, so these are not in New York. So like, oh my God, I live in New York. Where are the jobs for New York? Well, I'm either in Blythe or in LA. Okay. So I don't think you want the jobs in Blythe, so I'm giving you the ones in LA. Okay. So anyway, the millennium, and I didn't understand this one right here. Okay. There's a Millennium Hotel in downtown LA, but this one said Millennium Hotel Durham. Unless they change the name of the hotel downtown, and I have to do my research on that, or maybe you're representing, because this is a senior regional marketing manager position. Okay. So with Millennium Hotel Durham, and I'm thinking Durham was at North Carolina, but it's an LA based position. Okay. So they're looking for a senior regional marketing manager. I need to know more about that, but that's what they're looking for. The second one is the Sheraton Universal, my old stomping grounds. What they looking for? They're looking for a senior sales manager for group at Universal City. So the Sheraton Universal is in Universal City, right next to Universal Studios, right at the foot of Universal Studios. You can't get any closer. Well, actually you can, but it's right at the bottom of the hill from Universal Studios. So shouldn't they have a great partnership? There should be a great partnership between the Sheraton Universal and Universal Studios, and I'm sure it is. I mean, I used to work there, so yeah. Yeah, I'll say that it is. It probably could be better, but yeah, it's still there. And then the Sunrose Hotel. Now this used to be something else. I don't remember what it is, but it used to be something else. It's called the Sunrose Hotel in West Hollywood. They're looking for a director of revenue management. They're also looking for a general manager and a director of sales and marketing. So I want to say it's a hotel that was another name, is undergoing a brand change, and they probably renovated it, and they're rehiring everybody. So they're looking for a new director of sales and marketing, looking for a general manager, as well as a director of revenue management. So all those positions are on Indeed.com. So that's where I got them from. So don't think I got some magic, ooh, I know who's hiring, and I can control that. No, I can't. Okay. So those are just things that I'm reading to you that I've happened to pick up along the way to doing this show. Okay. So remember, this show On Air with Russell of Hotels is every Tuesday at 1 p.m. PST. That means 1 o'clock here in California. On the East Coast, that would be at 4 o'clock. Okay. Just so you know. So no, we do it every week. Okay. Rain, shine, sleet, snow, whatever, we're going to do it. Okay. So, and if I don't do it, I'll let you know that, I'll do it another day during that week, right? Normally it's on every Tuesday. I've been doing it Tuesday since back in the day, LA Talk Radio, right? It's always been Tuesdays. It's always been at 1 o'clock. So there you go. So, I don't know why. Okay. Like I said, I don't know. All of a sudden, just this allergy is just kicking my butt. So, I don't know why I'm showing that, but once again, yeah, this is On Air with Russell of Hotels, show number 304. Consistency. That's the one I want to get to. So consistency that's the important thing. How consistent are you in what you do? There's no way I could have done 304 shows if I was not consistent. Meaning you got to show up. You got to practice what you preach. If I'm sitting here talking about, oh, I do this show, oh, I do a daily check-in, so you got 5 days a week. If I'm always preaching that and you only see me, or I only show up 2 days a week, well, there goes the credibility, and there goes the consistency, right? But you don't have that here, right? It's always consistent. I'm always doing a daily check-in, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The times are inconsistent. I mean, but I do the show, right? Now this show on air is always at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays. Okay, so there you go. So it's all about consistency. Like I said, you cannot do 304 shows without being consistent. So that's one thing that I can say. Why do I say all that? Because there's people that, like just like um, the um, the Windsor Court. Okay, now if I'm showcasing that hotel and I'm being inconsistent, well, guess what? That's not helping them out, right? So I have to be consistent. So if someone is trusting me to talk about their hotel, to showcase their hotel, I have to be consistent, right? So that's what it's all about. It's all about consistency. So for people that are out there that may be interested in that kind of thing, like promoting that brand awareness, for someone else to promote that brand awareness, you got to be consistent, right? I can't sit up here and say all these things and I say I'm gonna do things, 4 days a week for you, and you see me once a week talking about, that particular hotel or whatever particular hotel. So consistency is the key, and that's what anyone wants. Anyone that has a brand, consistency is the key. Just like for me, Russell of Hotels, you wouldn't know who I was. Well, so a lot of people still don't know who I am, but you would know less of me if I was not consistent, right? So it's always consistency, consistency, consistency. So just remember that. In any business, you got to be consistent. There's no other way around it. There's no shortcutting it. There's no shortcutting consistency. So anyway, hey, we're at the end, right? So there you go. So any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me, russell@russellofhotels.com. That is my email. And you can go to russellofhotels.com. If you forget my email, everything is on there. My email's there. My phone number is there as well. Feel free to call me if that's what you want, because a lot of people will call me and ask me questions. A lot of people call me like, I'm like, who is this? And they don't say anything. I'm like, this is crazy. But yeah, so I get those calls too, right? So so just remember, any questions out, there's no crazy or stupid questions out there. I get a lot of questions. People ask me about the darndest things sometimes, but it's all hotel related, and I appreciate that. Hotel or industry related. How I need a mentor. I've had people call me and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a mentor. I need someone to kind of guide me." I'm like, "Okay, I'm that person, right? Let's do it. Where you want to go? Where are you coming from? What are you trying to achieve?" So believe me, I'm open to all those things, mentorships, as well as, maybe what's the next step in a job. Maybe you work in the hospitality industry now and you've amassed some experience, but you want to do something else. When is the right time to do that? Well, I mean, let's talk about those things, right? So that's what I'm all about, right? I went to a hotel school back in the day, and it wasn't easy to get. I mean, I knew the direction I was going to go at one point, but it took me a while to get to that point, right? So, I mean, if someone needs a mentor and someone wants to talk about those things, hey, I've been to a hotel school before. I know what to expect. But I get people that haven't gone to school that say, hey, I want to get in the industry. What's the best way to get in there? So, I mean, we have those conversations as well. So that's what it's all about, right? So it's all about trying to give back, let people know that this is the direction I think you should go. This is the direction I would go. So yeah, so any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me or you can call me. So the phone number is at russellofhotels.com. I don't want to just say that here. I want you to put in some work, you know what I mean? So go to the website. It's all there. There's no secrets here. I'm as accessible as anyone else out there. Well, not as anyone. I'm accessible more than anybody, right? So there you go. So that is it. I believe that's it. I believe I don't know why that song came up, but anyway, that is it. So I appreciate you guys coming on and listening to what I have to say. Remember the replay is going to be here. This show doesn't go anywhere after here. No, it stays here on YouTube. It stays here on LinkedIn, and it will be on Facebook and some other platforms as well. So there you go. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And any questions at all, feel free. It's on the ticker, okay? It's on the ticker. So anyway, that is it. Have a great day. I got to go blow my nose because these allergies are acting up. My allergies should get an Academy Award because they're always acting up. Ooh, that was a good one. Anyway, have a great day. Oh, man. Have a great day. Have a great week. And as always, peace.